Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mom's Corner. I hope everyone's doing well today. My name is Zainab, your host, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. I want to thank everyone for joining us. We are so honored and blessed to share this space and time with you. For those who are regulars on Mom's Corner, thank you for being here. And for those who are joining us for the first time, welcome and thank you. And I hope we can have you back for future sessions. And Mom's Corner is one of the programs under the umbrella of Global Perinatal Services, or GPS. And GPS is a nonprofit organization doing amazing work and changing lives every day. Our mission is to provide community-based doula services that will educate, respect, and empower low-income Black, refugee, and immigrant women and their families during pregnancy, birth, and into early parenting. I'm letting people in early parenting. Yep. Mom's Corner is a space not just for moms, but for all women folk, because at GPS we believe that motherhood is an extension of a woman's identity and not the definition. And Mom's Corner, since the pandemic, has become not just a space where we come together to find empathy, support, and camaraderie, but a safe haven and access to so many critical resources in our communities. Today's topic is birth stories, one of my favorite topics, and it's a chance for us moms to talk about and process our birth experiences. And I know that not all births are the same. Some births are challenging and traumatic than others, but the more you share your story, I believe the more you're able to let go and come to find peace with that experience. And if at any point you feel like you need to get away today, kind of get yourself together, get your composure, please do so. Take care of yourself. And we just want to come together as moms and, for you to share your experience and hopefully inspire other moms to something different or similar experience than yours. So yeah, without further ado, I actually went ahead and I typed up some questions just to get us going. Sometimes I know that some are a little bit shy than others to share their experiences, but if not, we can just go off script and tell our stories. So I'll just kind of share it on screen right here. Can everyone see that okay? Okay, let me see. We can go off of the first question. What was your perception of birth before you gave birth? Anyone wants to tackle that one, or I can go ahead and do it. Okay. For me, I think like before I gave birth, I kind of had this like perception like my labor was going to be like painful from start to finish. And then but I'm so glad I took a childbirth education class, and it just really put everything in perspective, and I was able to just relax and like look forward to giving birth as opposed to just being like really scared. Oh no, it's going to be painful from beginning to end. So that was my experience with my firstborn. So, would anyone else like to share what their perception was of birth before they gave birth?
I kind of knew that it was going to be painful just from watching like YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it to be that much painful. But yes. I'm glad that you had resources for like childbirth education classes and stuff like that. I didn't know like any of that existed, and so I wasn't prepared for it, and I didn't know what was going to happen. So I just kind of went into it a little blindsided.
Right.
So I remember like after I gave birth, the doctor was like, okay, now we have to push out placenta. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I just pushed out a child. What else do you want me to push out?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's another birth itself too, the placenta. Yeah, definitely. Oh my goodness.
So I remember my family just being around and laughing. I was like, you guys, it's not funny. What else am I giving birth to?
Oh, yes, and that is just so weird. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is so true. And like I hate like after they have to push your placenta, like they have to push your stomach. Oh my god. I think that was just Wow.
Yeah, so those rounds too that the nurses come around every
Oh my God.
hour or so and just push down. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
It's like one more time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely, and I think even like with hospital births, that just kind of makes the experience a lot more, I think, exciting. And yeah, because there's someone coming in every 10 minutes and it's like,
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a birth plan when you were, this is with your firstborn, I'm assuming?
This was my first, and like I said, I just knew nothing. I talked to my mom a little bit, but it's a big difference between she and I. Yeah, and also like the epidural, I remember she and I were just like kept going back and forth. She was like, no epidural.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't know how you do this. I'm medicated, but I need my meds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just kept going back and forth throughout the whole thing, and I feel like that kind of actually distracted me because I ended up not getting it.
Yeah. Wow.
But
yeah, having family there definitely helps sometimes. Having family there helps sometimes, and having family there doesn't help sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like sometimes it does help.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was long. It was, I think, like 2 days labor, but it was,
Yeah. Wow.
But it was
that is long.
Yeah.
What about your subsequent births? Were they like that as well, or did you?
No, I think with everyone you kind of learn more and are like then well aware of what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And as like times change, there's more things and more resources available.
Absolutely.
Stuff like that. Yeah. So I was able to enroll into childbirth classes and learn a little bit more about just different things, different methods to try, even if you don't want to do pain medication. There's different things that you could try. So just having all that knowledge kind of makes it.
Yes. Yeah. Knowledge is definitely power. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that with my last child, that contractions were coming, but then he wasn't I wasn't opening, so we had to like go walk around, and then that definitely made a lot of difference. And I like especially the bath, that always helps me, like my
yes
really
that was my favorite, I think. Even though my mom was not a fond of that. She was like, why are you naked everywhere?
Oh my God. Really good. Was your mom with you, or was your husband with you when you were?
My husband and my mom and my sister, those three are always the three.
Really good, your support system. That's good. What is one word that you would choose to describe your birth experience, like any one of your, or you can name all 3 words?
I feel like the last one was a bit just all the others were just really looking forward to it and joyful and just really happy about it and excitement of meeting this little human being that's going to change your life. The last one was a bit of a different experience just because when I went in for my 20-week ultrasound, we had found out that she was going to have a heart defect and she's going to need a heart defect.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes.
Wow. And so just like carrying the baby to full term and having that in your mind.
Oh, I can only imagine. Absolutely.
Oh, it's okay.
But you hopefully made it okay then.
She's really good now. She's 2.5 and runs our house.
Oh, I can only imagine. Because sometimes it's like when they're doing the ultrasound and they don't find the heart, you're like, okay, what's going on? What's happening?
I remember it was like, I think by the 3rd tech, I was like, okay, something is up that you guys are not telling me, because they kept coming. They were like, oh, we're just not getting a good view of something. I was like, oh, sure. I was like, okay, tell me now. So
exactly.
They were like, well, we really can't say nothing. We just give the report to your doctor. And then the doctor will tell you. But I have a good relationship with my midwife. So I remember calling her and being like, something is up. So call these people and tell them to tell me what's up. And so
that's right.
I think she made a call to them and then they had sat down with me and kind of explained it.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, it's always, and then when they have to get the doctor, it's always adds to the drama. It's like,
Yes.
what's happening? The suspense,
Yeah.
of waiting. Yeah.
Yes.
But alhamdulillah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
alhamdulillah.
at the same time, it's a blessing that, we know what to expect, like within the pregnancy, like you're
Yes.
pregnant, but then when the baby's born, you don't have to be surprised or like,
Yes, yes, yes.
know
So it's really good to know and kind of, educate yourself on what's going to happen and
and
the
prepare
procedure,
yourself.
getting yourself
Mhm.
ready. I think just
Yeah.
mentally and having things in place for your other children also.
Absolutely. And preparing
Yeah.
them also, because, with
Yeah.
each additional child, it's like you also have to prepare them emotionally and,
Yes.
and make sure that they're ready for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with the others, you just bring them straight home. So I had to tell them, oh, this one will be a little different because we're not going to come straight
Yeah.
home. Yeah, we'll be gone for a while. Just sitting
That's
down
right.
and having the
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. But
alhamdulillah, she's really good. We got lucky. It happened
yeah.
1 month right before the pandemic hit. So
Oh my, yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
yeah, so we got really lucky. I feel like if it had happened during the pandemic, we would have definitely had a different experience just
Wow.
because like the visitation and support system that could be there and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because that's one of my other questions about what was your experience of giving birth during COVID? Because I know it was like crazy. Because for a lot of moms, they couldn't even have doulas in the room. It was just a fight. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, mine's happened right before the COVID.
Yeah.
And so everything was like, there was nothing in place of like, as strict as it was after the COVID.
Yeah.
But I remember we were still there in March. So I remember them saying, okay, no more visitors. And you and dad are the only people allowed in here now. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was really messed up. Yeah, I remember UW, I think it was, and we had to write a letter to them and with other community leaders saying this is ridiculous. And the doula at least needs to be let in. And so they were able to, kind of relax their rules a little bit and let the partner and the doula in. So it was crazy. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing. If anything else comes up, please do feel free to share, inshallah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, the one thing that helped, what's the one thing that helped you do or made your experience of giving birth better? For me, yeah, I don't know. I'm one of those things that likes to plan things out. So just going into it, I knew it would not happen, birth plans, but I just liked it to have it in place. And I always have a copy with me. So my midwives and doctors, whatever, they know. So alhamdulillah, I think it worked out. It's just that mindset of going into it, knowing, this is what I would like. Because I know how the medical system works and like some they have certain plans for you, especially if you're a person of color giving birth. So I just wanted to make sure I had, all my I's dotted and T's crossed just in case anything happened. So yeah, I think that was helpful for me to know that. And as I mentioned, the water bath. I didn't give birth in water, which I wish I did. That's one of the things I wanted to do in my life, but I didn't get to do that. But it did like help my contractions. I went from like a 4 to a 9, which was that always happens to me, alhamdulillah, and then I gave birth after that. So what have you guys used or something that's helped you when you were giving birth?
I definitely would also say like having a birth plan, but also sometimes they might not like get a chance to read the birth plan. So
Yes.
When you do go into triage, just making sure that you kind of talk to the nurses and the provider a little bit about it and some of just the key things that you want to make sure is respected in the birth plan. And for me, I know it's like epidural placement and where it's placed, and it plays a big role in my birth. I feel like if it's not in a certain place, I'm just not in the right mind.
Yeah.
And so like making them be aware of that, but also having doula or somebody who's knowledgeable just there with you. A lot of times I feel like when we're just in pain and going through all that, we're not
thinking straight,
able to communicate effectively to the nurses or the doctors all the things that we want to communicate. So it helps to have somebody else that's kind of there for you, that you can tell those concerns to, and they can speak on your behalf.
Someone that's on your side. Yeah. When you say the epidural, where to place it, what do you mean? I've never had epidural.
Oh, sorry, not epidural, but the IV.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just can't do if they like do it on the arm or certain places. Like, ugh.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I hate those things.
I think something that made my birth experience really great is I've seen giving birth with a partner who's not supportive, and I've seen giving birth with a partner who's very supportive, and that really makes a difference in regards to how smooth things go. And I think being able to communicate with my partner and let him know this is what I want, and knowing that he's there to advocate for me, but he's also there to make sure that I'm okay, and that he knows that this is my birth plan, and that he's there to support and help, because with that and somebody just there to let you know that everything is going to be okay, oftentimes that makes such a better experience than when I was going through the worst of times and I had a partner who was really not supportive. I knew that brought on so much more stress and pain, and just the experience wasn't a happy experience, where now I can definitely see a difference in how much of a difference it makes when you have a partner who's supportive and who wants to be there and who's kind, and so
absolutely. And you're right, it makes all the difference in the world, because giving birth is stressful as it is. Add that to you have to deal with other external issues that the birth could even take a different turn if it has to. Wow. Thank you for sharing, Rahma.
With Rama, definitely a supportive spouse is I couldn't do it without him, honestly. Especially since we have home births, he just to balance the family and what we're doing, and it's just so important. I honestly, he gives me all the credit, but I couldn't do it without him.
Oh, absolutely. Of course. Definitely. And if you need back massages, they're always there. Because it just, for those of us who labor with their back, it's very painful, and so you need some strong arms and muscles to help you with that.
So painful. Going back to your other question.
Sorry, you're breaking up.
Oh, sorry. In regards to birth experience?
Yes.
When I go back to when I first became a mom, when I was very young, I really did not know much about giving birth. Whatever I saw on TV, like Naima mentioned, is all I knew. There was really no communication with my mom about it, because prior to that, I always thought my mom was going to the store to get babies. And so there was really we never had any conversation about it. I just knew that it was going to be painful. But in regards to doulas and having support, none of that was ever something that I knew about. I never knew that we can be able to have access to home births, and that's covered through insurance. Until later on, and I recently even just found out about that, and alhamdulillah, I was able to have a birthing center birth my last baby. And I really enjoyed it, because I'm the type of person who does not like staying in a hospital. Hospital is not a really good place for me. It's very traumatic, so I don't really enjoy being there. And just being able to go home that same night was something that I just loved. Even though for my mom and my husband, they were like, "This is so odd, for you to be." I went out to have a baby and I came back home that same night. My kids were like, "You're home. What are you doing home? We thought you were there for 3 days." But it was just so nice, and it made the recovery a lot easier for me, in all honesty. Because I felt comfortable, I felt healthy, and I felt I'm in the best place possible for me to be able to take care of my baby. But definitely my first child was when I was somebody who can't tolerate pain, so it wasn't the worst experience, but I think had I known about it and went to like birthing classes and been educated, it would have been a lot better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's definitely when you have the resources and you know how to access them, it makes a whole lot difference. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I can imagine, you know, the joy of coming home with your baby, like the night that you after you give birth. It's just it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And this is, I think, one of probably my favorite topics. Like, how did you adjust to your new identity as a mom? I know for me, it's just like, wow, like, you know, you're a new mom now, like, you know, you have your breasts are you have milk, and it's amazing subhanAllah how everything happens, and you have to take care of this person who's completely dependent on you now. It's mind-boggling too. Yeah, and something that your body made, like, you know, that you made with your partner, but like something that you created, you're holding in your hands, and you have to make decisions on their behalf, and then just take care of them, look after them, and love them more than you love yourself. It's amazing. But at the same time, there are also challenges that come with being a mother, and just trying to, like, you know, navigate all these thoughts in your mind, and emotionally, it's a lot to deal with. So I'm always really, it's a huge topic, but I'm always interested in knowing how moms navigated that, like postpartum depression and everything else that comes with being a new mom. And if you had any support system or help, someone to show you how to do it, and how you and your partner both navigated that terrain together.
For me, I was really grateful with my first one to stay with my mom for the first 4 weeks and have her support system, you know, have a warm tea and food every morning when I woke up, right there next to me.
Yes.
Sometimes if I needed to nap, she would come and take him and make sure he's, you know, fed and taken care of while I get that little nap.
Yeah.
But I remember that she wasn't here for the last two, and I just kind of saw like, oh my God, like, you know, how much that made a difference.
Yes, absolutely.
in like my recovery and everything else. I was just like, it was just so hard. I felt like, and having things like that, just how much,
Yeah.
Oh, the thing dropped, sorry. Yeah, but it just how much of a difference it makes when you have like a lot of support around you and people to kind of be there for you during those first few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I'm being, maybe I'm being biased, or I don't think I am being biased, but I think about how our moms had babies and they literally had a village to help them, and how worse off we are in our generation, because we literally don't have a support system, you know, where there's no village, like especially if you don't have any family close to help out. It's just how we have to mother versus how they mothered is just drastically different. And I'm so proud of our generation, because we're learning to do it, but at the same time we're finding a grace in doing it. It's very hard to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I remember I traveled back home to Kenya not long ago, and when I seen like one of my sister-in-laws that had a baby, and just how much of like, you know, there was just so many people just there to support her, and she didn't have to cook food or worry about any of that, or, you know, taking care of the other children or washing dishes, clothes, or anything like that. She had all these people that were there to kind of chip in and help her with all that. And it just was like, oh, wouldn't that be so nice if we had all this back home?
Absolutely. Yeah. And some moms have to go back to work, like 2 weeks later you have to go back to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think that also like plays like a major role in here, because we're expected to, you know, give birth to this child and then get, I don't know, like 6 to 8 weeks off, and then boom, we're expected to just go back into work or whatever else that's thrown at us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know, I feel like other countries are just giving the woman that proper time to heal and take care of herself, and not put it like a time limit on when how long it takes you to recover.
That's right. Yeah. And in some countries, they don't only just give the mom certain, certain time to recover. They also, the dads get paternity leave as well, the partners, so they can be home with you, helping you out. I think some country was like a year or two. Finland, I think, or Denmark. I'm not sure, but they do that. They do that, which is amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, our moms had it. So our moms criticize us. I'm like, no, you don't. You had a village. Like, we don't have any villages. Yeah.
But they say that we're spoiled here because we give birth in a hospital and have all these other resources. So
Oh,
I don't
please.
know.
No, I don't think so. I think I used to kind of feel shy of that or ashamed, be ashamed for those things. But like, we are raising our kids on our own. Like, we don't have any help for most of us from people. You don't have people coming in washing dishes for you, cooking you food. You have to do it yourself. The 2 weeks after your husband goes back, then it's up to you. So yeah. Sorry, okay. Sorry, I didn't see the chat until now. Yeah, so true. Yeah, absolutely. Joyful. Yeah, made you have an appreciation for your own mother. Absolutely. Yeah. 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 Let me see here. Today. Yeah. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, what advice would you give to people who are pregnant or who are going through, who are pregnancy right now?
I would definitely just say, like, make sure you take all these childbirth education classes and educate yourself on just everything. Make sure that you have a really good provider who is going to be looking at your best interest.
Yes.
And making sure to have all your support system lined up. Having things in place before you go into labor so that you're taking the time to rest and take care of yourself and not running around to do all this stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
But also doula.
Yep, a doula. Yep.
Yes. I would just tell everybody to get one. I'm always advertising doulas that where I work at all the time, because I feel like there's just so much that happens nowadays in hospitals, and you just need somebody who's just knowledgeable and on your side, that isn't family, to kind of be there and advocate for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, the doulas are always great. Yeah. And Rahma said, sleep as much as you can. Yeah, so true, because once you have a baby, sleep is out the window. Eat, Khadija said, eat energizing food. Yeah, helped you a lot. Thank you, Khadija. That's so true. Yeah. A doula, Taylor said, a good midwife, support system, birth plan, childbirth education. Absolutely. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
To piggyback on what you said about having a doula, in my experience, I'm a first-time mom. Having a doula just made it so much better.
Oh, mashallah.
The midwives were awesome. The nurses were awesome. That set extra of attention just for you really helped. Simple thing, I was telling you, relax your body.
Yeah.
The midwives and the nurses are just busy trying to get you situated in terms of delivering the baby, but they may not remember. Relax your body. Take it breathing. Also giving you some energizing food or drinks, and changing your position. I was in a terrible pain. I was like, oh, what's going on? And I was just laying in my back. And then the midwife and the nurse, they're just like, yep, you're gonna feel pain. And the doula, may Allah reward her, she was like, turn the other way. change your position, and that
That's
made
right.
so
Big
much
difference.
difference.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the doula, sometimes when you forget something, like she's there, like because you discuss things, before giving birth,
Mhm.
she can remind you, oh, remember you said you wanted this thing, and you're like, oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely. And because the doctors, and unfortunately in the medical system, they see pregnancy like just as a problem, a medical problem. It's not seen as like something natural, especially if you're at a hospital. And as soon as you come through the door, they're just like, okay, get on the bed. And for me, it's just the movement is what helped with my labor. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so happy to hear that, Felicia. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Did you have a baby during COVID, Khadija? You said
Yes, 4 months ago.
4 months ago. Okay. Alhamdulillah. I know
Yeah.
that. Yeah, with Alhamdulillah, with the protocols, they're relax them now. We can. But how was your experience, if you don't mind speaking to that? Yeah.
So number one, they want to check your results.
Yeah.
And being in pain, I was like, why are you digging my nose? That hurts already.
Yeah.
It was just very uncomfortable
Of
because they're
course.
like, you gotta sit still.
Oh,
And I'm like, I
wow.
can't.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a contraction.
And they're like, we cannot do anything for you until we check your COVID. I'm
Subhanallah.
like, okay, fine, I'll try my best.
Yes.
And then there's the whole thing of having only 2 visitors.
Oh, yes. We were just talking about that. Yeah.
And I had to maneuver that. It just, alhamdulillah, I was able to kind of have 3 people come in because 2
Yeah.
people kind of looked alike because they're all wearing hijab and they could not tell the difference.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But they cannot be in the same room at the same time. We're just like, let's switch around.
Yeah.
Literally, I had somebody bring me food. They're downstairs.
Yes.
And I said, can they come in, just deliver the food and leave? And they're like, are they in your list? I'm like, no, but they're not staying. They're wearing masks.
That's
I'm
right.
like, nope, only 2 people.
Oh my God. Wow.
It just added extra layer of things to worry about.
Complication. That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was a time I was telling the sisters, like, they didn't allow any visitors in the the birth suite, and then a lot of communities were like, this is ridiculous, like they need a doula, because some patients, they don't speak English, they need interpreters, and sometimes the doulas kind of step into that role, even though that's not their job. There's no one available, but it's just crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. But this was your firstborn, Khadija? This was your firstborn baby?
Yes, yeah.
Oh wow, subhanallah, I can only imagine. Alhamdulillah.
But overall, alhamdulillah, it was good experience.
Alhamdulillah. What would you say was your perception of birth before you gave birth?
I was so scared. I thought I was not able to do the things our bodies could do.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah, and how kind
wow. Yes.
I love, because you feel like sometimes when you experience like a very hard pain that you may faint or you might have a hard time.
Yes.
But as hard as labor is, there are jabs. You do get aches, alhamdulillah, and sometimes Allah is so kind that, at least from my experience, the pain felt like foggy.
Wow.
Not getting deep in my soul. Like I thought I was going to feel like extreme pain and I was going to scream. No, it was just kind of foggy. I'm like, it does hurt. It's very uncomfortable, but
yes,
I don't know. So it was not what I thought it would be.
Yeah. And then with every contraction, alhamdulillah, it's not like something that stays like the same. With it, you get a little bit more pain with each contraction, then you get a break in the middle, and then you can move on, alhamdulillah. Yeah, but our bodies are amazing. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, let's see. I think we answered all of our questions. I'm kind of something that you said, or someone said, like, what did you guys eat? What was your meal afterwards? Like, what were you craving after you had the baby, or bring with you?
I had dates. Dates really helped.
You mean during also, or like just as
during labor? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And looking back now, what are some feelings or emotions that come up for you? Like things that you wish you had done differently, or like, are you satisfied with your birth, or just how it went, your experience, how you feel about it looking back? Veggie soup, nice. Taylor, thank you.
With my first two, I didn't really like look into the doctors who I was gonna see. I kind of picked whoever, I just went on like the bulletin board and picked somebody.
Yeah.
From the doctor's office, but with the last three, I just looked more into it, made sure that it was a midwife, because I feel like just having midwifery care is so much different than having an OBGYN doctor.
Yes.
And so I feel like that made things so much better for me, at least with my birthing experiences. And yeah, I feel like if I were to go back and do it again, I would definitely look into that and make sure that, even like there's a C-section rates, or
Yes.
look into like little details.
Absolutely. Like you mean doing research and well before you had birth, before you gave birth?
Yeah, before I gave birth, or even before I started seeing the doctor for all my visits, I would put more time into it and making sure, and not choose OBGYN just because we know that those doctors are trained to do C-sections, and sometimes they will rush into that. So research and all that stuff.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Welcome, Esma. We're just talking about our birth experiences, and these are the questions up, or that we're just kind of answering. But if something comes up for you and you would like to talk, then or share, that would be awesome as well.
Sister who was just talking, where would you find information about OBs?
So I just picked the nearest hospital that was next to mine, and I used search in OBGYN, like let's say it's Swedish, and then it pops up all their OBGYN doctors, and you could kind of read a little bio about them and see. I did that, but also, like I said, with my other ones, I went around and looked at the different midwifery groups that are available in Seattle, and sat down. You have that initial intake where you can sit down with the nurse and kind of talk to them about their vaginal birth rates and compared to their C-section rates and all that stuff.
Definitely. Wow. Definitely. Yeah, and there are some times when a C-section is warranted, but as we know from research, a lot of the times when it comes to moms of color, they're disproportionately impacted because the medical system is so racist, and they just assume Black people don't feel pain, so, or they just don't want to bother. So C-section, and it makes them the most money anyway, a C-section. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So absolutely. Let's see here. For those of you who are just joining us, did you want to tackle the question of how you adjusted to your identity as a new mom? We briefly touched on that.
Back of when I first gave birth, I really didn't have any knowledge about postpartum or depression or sadness or anything that associated with postpartum. And now looking back, I do feel like there was some things that I was going through that I didn't even know that I was going through it at the time, but had I known, it would have made it a lot joyful and easier for me to seek help.
Yeah. Wow, absolutely.
And yeah, but there's moments where I look back even after giving birth to my twins where I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't want to get out of my room. I was completely shut out. It was different thoughts going around in my head. And now I'm just that now that I know a lot more about postpartum depression, I'm like, that's what I was going through, but I didn't know that that's what I was going through at the time. And so you're just so hard on yourself, and you want to know, like, why is this happening? Am I a bad mom? You label yourself, you look at yourself like you're really horrible in so many ways, where I think had I known that, I would have been kinder to myself first and foremost, because oftentimes when we're going through that as a mom, we're more harder on ourselves than anybody else.
Absolutely. Yeah. And your body's changing. I think for me, it was like the first day I wasn't making milk, and you know how your colostrum comes in, and that's actually like so important for the baby. So I was worried my baby was not getting, like, you know, he was not eating, or he wasn't getting enough food. And so people kind of push you to do formula. And, you know, there's times when formula is good for the baby, and when the baby has to eat formula, that's fine. But I also think, just people not having knowledge or education around the importance of breast milk is really, it's really detrimental to the mom, because she has all this self-doubt, like you mentioned, and questions as a new mom. But then she's getting all this information, like, you know, you're not even making milk for your baby, like, you know, basically you're not a good enough mom, just give him the formula. But waited one day later, I didn't give him the formula, alhamdulillah, and my breasts were just like filled with milk, and I was pumping, I was feeding him, and it was just fine. So yeah.
Yeah, and to add to that, just looking into like educating yourself on breastfeeding, and if you plan to exclusively do that, looking into different things that can increase your milk, or like milk storage, and figuring out all that stuff, a good breast pump to have. Just giving yourself education on that helps a lot too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Taylor wrote in the chat, there are really wonderful midwives that were not available some years ago. I may be favoring Faisa as a wonderful midwife of my last 4 babies, but only until I found her did I start having the births I truly wanted and loved. She listens, doesn't judge, makes you feel comfortable, and allows your body to do what women have been doing for centuries, and doesn't push you into anything you don't want. Alhamdulillah. Absolutely. Yeah, but I will say, tell Faisi you said that, mashallah. Thank you, Taylor. Yeah, I like that as well about midwives. With all my boys, I had them with midwives. The last 2 had them at a birth center, but the first one was at a hospital, group health, before they changed it. But it just makes so much difference. I know what you mean, Taylor. It's just the way they talk to you, the way they're calm, and you just take your time. It's peaceful. Nothing's rushed, and they're not looking at the clock, you know, because OBs, they got to be out of there at 6, you know, and when they're out, there's another doctor on call that will take care of you. So it was just like, it's just such a huge difference. Yeah, definitely takes a toll off your shoulders. Yeah. I think that covers all of our questions. Would oh my God, this was so fun. Does anyone else would they like to add anything before we dismiss? Or I will just drop this here as well in the chat box.
So anyone here made a birth plan and they went through with it? I always wonder how that goes. I tried, but it didn't work out.
I was one of the people who mentioned birth plan. Yeah, I always had a birth plan, and alhamdulillah, well, like everything went according to plan. But I know there are some moms that don't have that luxury of having that play out. So yeah, because I just want to make sure, like, oh, don't cut me. I like to just have a natural tear. This is the stuff that I like to use, like walking around, the bath. I don't want any medication and things like that. So it helps me, I think, stay focused and just having a plan in place. And then if something were to happen, then it's in Allah's hands. But just knowing that and just going over that with my doctors and midwives, and making sure they have a copy, and making sure that the staff knows what I want. that was helpful for me. Yeah. But it doesn't always go according to plan. That's how births are. Yeah.
For sure. I would say not to let it discourage you if you know you made a birth plan and things didn't go the way that you wanted. Just learn from all that stuff and see what could have been done to make sure that your birth plan was followed through, and taking that into your future births.
Yes. Yeah. Can I ask, and this is a personal question if you don't feel like answering, but has anyone had like a stillbirth or like a traumatic birth experience, and how did you navigate that as a new mom? Or let's say you planned a vaginal birth, but then you end up giving a C-section. How did that impact you as a mom? Okay, that's good.
I mean, I mentioned a little bit of it, but with my last one, like with knowing that she had a heart condition, I kind of knew that, you know, they would have to take her right away, but like not having that little moment of like skin to skin for like even 2-3 minutes.
Yes.
It was like a bit sad, and like she was just taken straight to the ICU and being held by different doctors. And then I think when I had finally the second day when I had finally got up to go to see her, and hoping that I would kind of get to hold her, but also being told no, because she's hooked up to all these machines, that if we mess with any of this, it could, you know, alter outcome and stuff.
Wow. So for 3 minutes or so you weren't able to hold her. Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, the little ones are arguing, but no, I couldn't hold her at all because they had to immediately take and start a medication on her to make sure that, you know, she's breathing well, because with that condition, they're not able to breathe on their own well. So basically a life-saving measure.
Oh, alhamdulillah. I can only imagine. You're very tough and brave. I would just be like all beside myself. Yeah, because as a mom, the first instinct you have is, I mean, not all moms, because I know some moms, they're having this out of body experience. Sometimes you don't want to hold your baby, and that's completely fine. But for most moms, when they have the baby, you know, you want to do the skin to skin, breastfeed, and then start the bonding process. So I can only imagine like how that felt for you.
Yeah, definitely. It was also like just being more like grateful for also those moments, and like making sure not to take them for granted, because I was like, oh wow, those were really special moments. And I feel like it contributes also really well to like your breastfeeding experience, because I feel like the first few, sorry, I keep getting a call that's coming in, but those first, you know, hours after a baby's born and what you do towards like your breastfeeding journey really helps a lot in making sure that you have a successful breastfeeding journey.
Yeah, it sets the tone, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's really awesome. Would anyone else like to add last minute thoughts? I wanted to guys ask you about also what topic you would like to do next month, or something along the lines of this, or anything else that you would like.
I would say breastfeeding. I feel like that's not talked a lot, so maybe that would be nice.
Okay, write that down. Breastfeeding.
I was just gonna say that. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. What about breastfeeding? Like just the whole aspect of that?
I would say the area of like working and breastfeeding, or you know, general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Breastfeeding. Got it. Okay. Working. Are there moms who breastfed while they were working on here? I think I'm kind of curious. Yeah. because I'm in all of those moms and just, yeah, I think they're awesome. Like working outside the home and then you have to breastfeed. And how do you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I had to take my pump and make sure that I took, you know, I let my supervisors know as soon as I went back that I'm a breastfeeding mom and I need to make sure that I have blocks in my schedule to allow me to pump.
Yeah.
And a space to do so.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, it really helps when the people you work with make that space for you and are able to help out. Yeah. Definitely. Cool. So breastfeeding. Okay, I wrote it down for next time. Yeah, we'll tackle breastfeeding, inshallah. Yeah. And I might even bring some breastfeeding consultants, like specialist people on here with me to help answer some of your pressing questions, inshallah. Yeah. So bring them, inshallah. Yeah. And every time you attend a session, we reward you by saying thank you with stipends, inshallah. And that if you fill out that form, we'll send it out to you however you would like it on there. This was amazing. Thank you so much, guys. I really enjoyed talking about your birth experiences and just learning, like, again, what makes women, moms so awesome. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose us for a purpose to carry these human beings. Thank you for being here and sharing your story. I really appreciate it. I will see you, inshallah, next week, inshallah, the doctors are coming next Saturday, and then we're going to be talking about drugs in pregnancy. So they're going to talk about like marijuana. I know we're not into that, but marijuana, you know, other prescription drugs and things like that that can interact or harm or not harm pregnancy. So stay tuned for that as well, inshallah. Yeah. Okay. Anyone doesn't have any last minute thoughts, then I will let you go. And thank you so much for being here, guys. Jazakallah khair.
It will be on the same Zoom link or it's different?
Yeah. Oh, the same Zoom link. Yep. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. See you next week, inshallah.
Wonderful. Bye.